What's up everybody, Brian Tong here, and hey, I'm back after an amazing 2 weeks in Japan, so let's get caught up on what's been happening in the world of Apple. And you know what, we start with rumors and even leaks of a new Apple Vision Air. Yeah, now we know the Apple Vision Pro is an incredible piece of tech, but it has not been the success Apple wanted it to be, especially at that $3,500 starting price point. You know, Apple had even hoped people coming in to try it out in store would then end up purchasing other products like, let's say, a new iPhone or more, and it just hasn't turned out that way for them. Apple knows it needs to get lighter, it needs to get cheaper, and that's where the Apple Vision Air comes in. According to leaker Kosutami, they report that the new Vision Air will feature a thinner design. It will switch up the battery enclosure and some of its internal structures to titanium to reduce its overall weight, while most of the exterior will remain aluminum instead of a silver finish, and it will be a midnight dark bluish black finish. Now, Kosutami even shared images of what is purportedly the new Lightning style connector with 12 pins instead of 8, hinting at maybe a more significant redesign for the connector that goes into the external battery. Then Kosutami just released images of the power cable connector side that twist onto the Apple Vision Pro headset, covered again in that midnight color with a black woven cable. All reports claim Apple's expected to launch an updated second generation Apple Vision Pro headset with an M5 chip between the fall of 2025 and spring of 2026, but it's also working on a lower cost headset, and the Vision Air could be that device. Now, Bloomberg's Mark Gurman also has reported that Tim Cook is hell-bent on bringing a true augmented reality glasses to the market before Meta. You know, we've already seen how far ahead Meta is with their Orion preview, and I would say a lot more further ahead. The Vision Pro is a stepping stone to get to that super thin AR wearable glasses, but how close is Apple really to that? The report says Cook has made it a top priority for the company, and Gurman's sources says that he cares about nothing else, and it's the only thing he's really spending his time on from a product development standpoint, not Apple Intelligence or Siri. Now, those glasses, we know they're years away from becoming a reality, so don't expect anything anytime soon. Meta has already captured consumers' attention with their lightweight tech and super sleek Meta Ray-Bans. You know, I've been saying it for a while. That's the type of low-hanging fruit Apple needs to do. Get in that space, work with someone like trendy like Warby Parker, and they need to establish themselves with a product that is at the top of consumers' minds, because the Vision Pro has not been able to generate enough heat for them. There have also been previous reports that Apple is working on a version of Vision OS that will run on glasses, codenamed Atlas, and it's conducting user studies at its own offices to nail down its interface and features. But the wearable race is absolutely on. I'd also like to say part of making some great glasses with a seamless voice assistant to aid in that is important too. You know what I'm talking about. Now, Apple knows it and we know it, but both Siri and Apple Intelligence, they need to get a whole lot better. Okay, now while I was away, I did a video about the upcoming iPhone foldable getting serious, and then there's even more news around that this week. According to a report from Business Korea, the iPhone Fold, that's what we're gonna call it for now, will be using OLED panels exclusively supplied by Samsung Display. Normally, Apple has sourced components from multiple suppliers to reduce costs, but the report says LG Display and China's BOE were left out because of Samsung's technical edges in minimizing screen creases. Rumors have reported that Apple is trying to make a virtually creaseless foldable, which sounds impossible for something that folds, but we'll see. Now, Samsung Display was reportedly the only viable choice, and reports claim the iPhone Fold will have a 5.5-inch outer display and a larger display around 7.8 inches iPad style when opened up. Now, the internal display will also reportedly feature a single punch hole under-screen camera integrated into the display, but will reportedly not include any of the true depth camera components for Face ID recognition. Also, a Touch ID button on the side of the foldable is more likely to happen. Now, a recent report also claims that the new iPhone foldable will have a dual lens rear camera, according to analyst Ming-Chi Kuo, and the front-facing camera on that outer 5.5-inch display will be similar and almost identical to the punch hole style found on other foldables like the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. See, it's not that hard when everyone else has been doing it for years. And yes, you know, when people ask me, why would anyone care about foldables when they've been out for so long and could have purchased one a long time ago? The answer, my friends, is one word: ecosystem. it matters. Now, Quo says the final hardware specifications will be locked in by the end of June this year, with mass production to start in the fourth quarter of 2026, with the release expected late next year or early 2027, with a price tag between $2,000 and $3,000. Sheesh. Now, the report also says a second generation iPhone foldable is already in the pipeline, and that thing is going to cost a pretty penny, and it's going to be really all about the software capabilities on that device. So yeah, Apple, you got to figure that out. Speaking of costly, hey, let's fast forward a little bit. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves, but a report says Apple's future iPhone 18 models are expected to adopt the new TSMC 2nm manufacturing process for their next-gen A20 chip. Smaller transistors allow more to be packed onto a single chip, and that typically results in increased processing speed and improved power efficiency. That brings more substantial gains in performance and energy efficiency improvements, but it could also mean increased costs passed on to us, the consumer, according to Digital Chat Station. Now, TSMC plans to start manufacturing 2nm chips in late 2025, that's this year, and Apple is expected to be the first major company to receive chips built on the new process. That means they also have to build new facilities for this, and Apple is expected to be the first one to take advantage of the new chip and processors, and that also means a big bump in pricing. Now, we already know about the back and forth with tariffs, and for now, the Apple's iPhone is exempt from those 145% tariffs because someone came up with a random number for now. But it doesn't sound like that is going to last, and tariffs for tech are being moved into a different tariff bucket entirely. So factor in a new chip, increase in prices, and some level of tariff being involved, your iPhone will most likely cost more than it does today. And remember, in case those tariffs were going to happen, Apple did transport 5 planes full of iPhones and other products last minute from India and into the US in just 3 days to beat the tariff deadline, which I guess kind of happened, but kind of didn't, just in case. Okay, now we have just a couple quick notes here. Right before I left for my break, HomeKit. On April 1st, iOS 18.4 users can now add robot vacuums to HomeKit for the very first time, thanks to the Matter smart home standard. This is something we've been waiting for, and if you've seen my channel, you know that I'm a big robot vacuum fan. It sounds crazy, but it's really one of the more exciting spaces in tech right now, so you can add it as an accessory. You'll see it alongside your list of HomeKit accessories. It's a short list right now, but here is a list of the compatible vacuums. Roborock says firmware updates will bring support to other models as well in the coming weeks and months. And you have other companies like Ecovacs, SwitchBot, and Roomba. They will also be doing future firmware updates for some of their vacuums. And if you didn't know already, Beats, yes, the audio company that Apple owns, they made iPhone cases for the first time this year, and now they have their own collection of charging cables with 4 color options. They're making USB-C to USB-C, USB-A to USB-C, and USB-C to Lightning cables. The colors are Rapid Red, Bolt Black, Nitro Navy, and Surge Stone. You can see them all here. All 3 flavors of cables come in 2 lengths. You got 5 feet and then 8-inch lengths depending on what you need, with both selling for $18.99, and they are available now. All right, everybody, that is gonna do it for this video. If you like what you see, give me that thumbs up, subs up, and hit that notification bell, ding, to get all my latest videos when they drop. And if you want more of that Apple goodness, you can check out my weekly Apple Bits XL audio podcast with the latest stories and special guests. Plus, you can support all my content with an ad-free version of the podcast, early access to my content, and exclusive content at patreon.com/Brian Tong. Thanks so much for watching. Take care. I will take care because, yeah, I got to clear all this up for my trip. And I will see you all on the next video. Peace and love.